獅子王誠か。
頭の回転のや仲間や弱い人たちの光明心と
もういねえでござるよ。
ことを何とも思わぬ健太。
青志様は
鬼は満州こそ歴史に
無べき幕府もすでにない。すなわち
手に入れても試しがせやけどな。ごっつムカつくわ。
新時代を開くため多くの人
今
だな。だな将軍。9分をもって 知らぬ道へ足を。
どうして？
になるために決まってんだろうが。全員人よ。
姉か。
ああ、
今日砲撃しこの国をぶっ壊す。
今日か。
安心するでござる。今拙者が。俺が興味があるのはな、
放せ。
殺してくれと思うくらい。別の男がつまらねえ信じ。
Hey guys, today we're diving headfirst into the blistering inferno of Rurouni Kenshin 2, Kyoto Inferno, where our beloved former assassin, Kenshin Himura, finds his peaceful life rudely interrupted. This isn't your grandma's cozy tea party. It's a full-throttle historical action flick packed with breathtaking sword fights and a villain who makes most bad guys look like grumpy kittens. We kick things off with a literal bang, as the enigmatic and utterly terrifying Shishio Makoto, a man whose entire body is a testament to betrayal and fire, orchestrates the complete obliteration of a government oil refinery. He's not just burning oil. He's burning the very notion of peace to the ground. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Meanwhile, Kenshin, still living his best quiet life with Kaoru, Yahiko, and Sanosuke, gets a rather unwelcome visit. Imagine you're enjoying a nice cup of tea, maybe debating the best way to fold laundry, and then two grim-faced government types show up, looking like they've seen a ghost, or rather a very alive and very angry Shishio. They spill the beans. Shishio, Kenshin's successor as the government's hitman, survived being set on fire. Yeah, you heard that right, set on fire. And he's now building an army of disgruntled samurai and assassins to overthrow the new Meiji government. Their solution? Ask the guy who swore off killing to go back to, well, you know. Talk about awkward. This news naturally throws a monkey wrench into Kenshin's no more killing vow. You can practically hear his internal monologue screaming, "Can't a guy just enjoy his life without a homicidal, burnt-to-a-crisp supervillain trying to bring down society?" He knows that Shishio's path of destruction will inevitably lead to innocent lives being lost, a burden Kenshin just can't stomach. The choice is clear but heavy. Break his promise to Kaoru and confront his past, or let chaos reign. In a heartbreaking scene, he makes the impossible decision, bidding a silent yet deeply felt farewell to Kaoru. The air practically crackles with unspoken fears and promises. A truly tough pill to swallow for our wandering swordsman. As Kenshin begins his solitary journey to Kyoto, the audience gets a stark reminder of why he's needed. We see Shishio's influence already spreading like a sinister stain across the land. His henchmen, a truly charming bunch, are busy making a mess of Kyoto, openly terrorizing innocent people and generally being the worst kind of tourists. The metallic clang of their weapons, the shouts of fear, it all paints a grim picture. Shishio isn't just a threat. He's a festering wound on the very heart of Japan. It's clear this isn't just a political squabble. It's a battle for the soul of the nation, and our hero has a very long, very sharp, and very blunt sword to deal with it. Kenshin's trip to Kyoto isn't exactly a peaceful river cruise. On a boat, he encounters Cho Sawagejo, one of Shishio's 10 swords, a flamboyant fellow who looks like he got dressed in a circus tent and then decided to become a master swordsman. Cho has a rather unique fashion sense and an even more unique pair of swords. One a flexible blade that coils like a snake, the other a regular katana. He's on a mission to retrieve something precious from the government, and Kenshin naturally is right in his path. The tension on that boat is so thick, you could cut it with a dull butter knife, let alone Cho's fancy blades. The fight kicks off, and it's a masterclass in controlled chaos. Cho, with his ridiculously long, flexible sword, tries to literally lasso Kenshin into submission, whipping the blade around with terrifying speed. But Kenshin, ever the nimble warrior, effortlessly parries and deflects, his reverse blade sakabato making light work of Cho's attempts. The clang of metal on metal echoes through the boat, punctuated by the whoosh of Cho's blade cutting through the air, dangerously close to Kenshin's hair. This guy clearly skipped the personal space lessons. Kenshin's movements are fluid, almost like water, contrasting sharply with Cho's wild, unpredictable attacks. A beautiful symphony of destruction that's just getting warmed up. Just when you think Kenshin has the upper hand, a shocking moment unfolds. In a desperate attempt to protect a child, Kenshin's iconic reverse blade sword, his symbol of non-lethal combat, shatters into pieces. The audible crack followed by the visual splintering of the blade is gut-wrenching. It's like watching a superhero lose their powers right when they need them most. Kenshin is left with nothing but a hilt, completely disarmed against a maniacal foe who still has 2 perfectly good, very sharp swords. The silence that follows the clang of the breaking blade is deafening, filled only with the rapid thud of Kenshin's heart as he realizes the gravity of his situation. Talk about a bad day at the office. After a brief but intense struggle, Kenshin, despite being disarmed, manages to subdue Cho using sheer skill and a rather clever application of martial arts. Cho, now tied up and looking quite silly, reveals that he was after a unique blade called the Amakakeru Ryu no Hirameki, but Kenshin corrects him. It's a technique, not a sword. Kenshin then seeks out an old, wise swordsmith who crafts the famous sakabato. The old man, a true artisan, understands Kenshin's plight and presents him with a new reverse blade sword, explaining its unique properties. It's not just a sword. It's a renewed commitment to his vow, forged in the fires of necessity. The clink of the blade settling into its saya feels like hope. Back home, Kaoru, being Kaoru, isn't just going to sit around and wait for Kenshin to come back. With Sanosuke, who looks like he's perpetually ready for a brawl, and the feisty Yahiko in tow, they pack up and decide to head to Kyoto themselves. Because, let's be honest, Kenshin is a magnet for trouble, and someone needs to make sure he's eating his vegetables and not getting himself permanently disemboweled. The clatter of their footsteps on the dusty road signifies their unwavering loyalty and a touch of stubbornness. It's a journey filled with unspoken worries, but also a strong sense of purpose. They're a ragtag team, but their hearts are in the right place, even if Sanosuke's stomach is mostly interested in the next meal. Meanwhile, Kenshin's path leads him into a forest where he encounters Misao Makimachi, a spirited young kunoichi and a member of the Oniwa Banshu, a former ninja spy group. She's like a human whirlwind, twirling and striking with her kunai and short blades, making short work of a group of thugs who clearly picked the wrong day to mess with a ninja. The schwip of her blades through the air and the thud of her kicks are music to any action fan's ears. She's feisty, strong, and has a very clear goal, finding her beloved Aoshi, the former leader of the Oniwabanshu. Kenshin, ever the gentleman, helps her out. Even though he probably just wanted a quiet stroll through the woods, Misao quickly realizes Kenshin is the famous Battousai, and her mood shifts from feisty to furious. She explains Aoshi's dark transformation. Consumed by guilt and the desire to avenge his fallen comrades, Aoshi has become obsessed with defeating Kenshin to prove the Oniwabanshu's strength. He believes by surpassing Kenshin he can honor their memory, even if it means sacrificing his own humanity. Misao's voice quivers with a mixture of sadness and anger as she recounts Aoshi's descent, the weight of his obsession palpable in her words. It's a classic case of, "You killed my sensei's cousin's brother-in-law's best friend? Prepare to die." Only much more complicated. Back in Shishio's lair, the ultimate villain gathers his 10 swords, a group of eccentric and deadly assassins. He's not just planning a coup. He's planning a full-scale revolution, a new Japan built on the ashes of the old. His master plan involves burning Kyoto to the ground, creating so much chaos that the government will crumble, clearing the path for his own regime. The hiss of his breath through his scarred lips as he speaks, the grim determination in his single visible eye. It all screams, this guy means business. His followers, a truly motley crew ranging from a blind swordsman to a giant monk, hang on his every word, ready to unleash havoc. This isn't just a plan. It's a manifesto of mayhem. Kenshin, knowing he needs to become stronger, makes his way to a secluded mountain retreat. His destination, the home of his former master, Hiko Seijuro, the only other living practitioner of the heightened Mitsurugi-ryu style. Hiko, a man of immense power and even more immense ego, lives a hermit's life, carving pottery and generally being aloof. Kenshin's polite request for further training is met with typical Hiko sarcasm, but the underlying concern for his former pupil is palpable. The crunch of snow under Kenshin's boots and the clink of Hiko's teacup set a stark, reflective tone. This isn't just a training montage. It's a reunion of master and student, with the fate of Japan hanging in the balance. Hiko isn't exactly thrilled to teach Kenshin the final technique, Amakakeru Ryu no Hirameki, which he'd previously deemed too dangerous for Kenshin. He dismisses Kenshin's plea with a gruff, "You're too soft." Kenshin, however, isn't taking no for an answer. He passionately explains the existential threat Shishio poses, the thump-thump of his heart echoing his desperation. He conveys the sheer scale of the terror Shishio is unleashing and how only mastering this technique can give him a fighting chance. Hiko, despite his gruff exterior, eventually relents, recognizing the true gravity of the situation and the selfless intent behind Kenshin's request. It's tough love with very high stakes. Meanwhile, Kaoru, Sanosuke, and Yahiko finally make it to Kyoto, tired but determined. They cross paths with Misao, who, upon realizing they're Kenshin's friends, happily welcomes them to the Aoya Inn, the secret base of the Oniwabanshu. The creak of the old inn's door opening symbolizes a new chapter for this motley crew. It's a moment of much-needed levity and friendship amidst the brewing storm. Misao is thrilled to have company, especially if it means more people to annoy. Sanosuke, of course, immediately heads for the kitchen, probably eyeing the largest rice bowl in the vicinity, while Kaoru worries about Kenshin. and Yahiko tries to assert his youthful dominance. Classic Kenshin's training under Hiko is brutal, to say the least. Hiko, a master of tough love, repeatedly challenges Kenshin to unleash the Amakakeru Ryu no Harameki, a technique so powerful it can decide the fate of a battle. Kenshin tries. He really does, but he keeps failing, falling short of its true potential. The thud of Kenshin hitting the ground after another failed attempt, the whoosh of Hiko's powerful strikes that leave Kenshin breathless, highlight the immense gap between them. It's not just about strength. It's about understanding the technique's true essence, the inner spirit, as Hiko keeps barking. Kenshin is basically in a martial arts boot camp, but with more dramatic mountain scenery. While Kenshin is busy getting his butt kicked by his master, Shishio's grand plan kicks into horrifying gear. His loyal, albeit slightly unhinged, followers begin igniting various parts of Kyoto. The crackling of flames, the shouts of terror, and the clatter of people running through the streets create a chilling soundscape of fear. This isn't just arson. It's a deliberate act of terror designed to destabilize the government and sow widespread panic. Shishio's cold logic dictates that by pushing the populace to the brink, they'll be more receptive to his new order. It's a truly diabolical scheme, proving that some villains just want to watch the world burn, literally. Kenshin, having finally completed his training, more on that later, arrives in Kyoto just as Shishio's arsonists are having their party. The air is thick with smoke. The roar of the fire is deafening, and the screams of the innocent cut through the chaos. Kenshin, seeing the devastation, springs into action, a blur of motion through the flames. He deflects attacks, disarms opponents, and guides civilians to safety, his new Sakabato a silver streak in the orange glow. He's a one-man fire brigade and anti-terrorist unit rolled into one, doing his best to mitigate the damage. He's not just fighting thugs. He's fighting despair and the cold, calculated cruelty of Shishio's vision. Amidst the chaos, Kenshin has a brief but intense reunion with Aoshi. Aoshi, still haunted by his past and driven by a warped sense of honor, sees Kenshin as his ultimate opponent. The clash of their blades is sharp and sudden, a testament to their skill, even in the middle of a burning city. Aoshi's movements are brutal, filled with a raw, vengeful energy, contrasting with Kenshin's more refined, defensive style. It's a quick preview of a larger conflict to come, a reminder that even when battling an external evil, Kenshin also has to contend with the internal demons of his past. Some people just can't let bygones be bygones, can they? Just when Kenshin seems overwhelmed, a familiar, stoic figure arrives. Saito Hajime, Kenshin's former Shinsengumi rival and now a police officer. Saito, with his distinctive uniform and perpetually grumpy demeanor, doesn't waste any time. He unleashes his signature Gatotsu, a devastating piercing attack, with a whoosh and a thwack that sends Shishio's thugs flying. He's not exactly Kenshin's best friend, but when it comes to stopping a major threat, Saito puts aside their old rivalry. The sight of them fighting side by side, even if they pretend they'd rather be anywhere else, is a nostalgic thrill for fans. Teamwork makes the dream work, even if that dream involves stopping an anarchist. After the chaos subsides, Kenshin makes his way to the Aoya Inn, where a much-anticipated reunion takes place. The scene where he embraces Kaoru is genuinely heartwarming, a moment of quiet relief amidst the storm. Sanosuke claps him on the back with a thwack that probably rattled Kenshin's bones. Yahiko looks up to him with renewed admiration, and Misao is just happy to have everyone together. Even Saito is there, providing his usual brand of gruff support. It's a motley crew, but they are united by their common goal to stop Shishio. The laughter and chatter filling the inn provide a brief respite. A reminder of what they're fighting for. Friendship, family, and a future free from Shishio's tyranny. But the burning of Kyoto was just a warm-up act. Shishio's true weapon, his ace in the hole, is revealed. A massive ironclad battleship named the Rengoku. This isn't just a big boat. It's a floating fortress, a symbol of his ambition to conquer Japan, not just on land, but from the sea. The creak of its enormous hull, the splash of water against its metal sides, the sheer scale of the ship. It's an intimidating sight. Shishio, standing proudly on its deck, looks every inch the tyrannical conqueror. He plans to sail this beast to Tokyo and bombard the capital, essentially holding the government hostage. Talk about an over-the-top evil plan. This guy clearly skipped Subtlety 101. While Shishio is busy building his naval empire, Aoshi is still very much stuck in his own personal purgatory. His obsession with defeating Kenshin has grown, twisting him into a gaunt, tormented figure. Misao tries desperately to reach him, to remind him of the Oniwabanshu's true purpose. But Aoshi is deaf to her pleas. His thudding footsteps as he stalks away, his vacant eyes, all betray the profound darkness that has taken root. He's no longer fighting for honor, but for a twisted form of revenge that has blinded him to everything else. It's a tragic character arc, proving that sometimes even good guys can lose their way in spectacular fashion. Shishio, being the ever-so-polite villain, decides to pay Aoya a visit. Not for tea, mind you, but with his entire Juppongatana launching a surprise attack on the inn. The crash of splintering wood and the shouts of battle erupt as the Oniwabanshu, along with Kenshin's friends, scramble to defend their home. It's a chaotic, multi-front battle, with each of Shishio's 10 swords bringing their unique, deadly skills to the forefront. This isn't just a skirmish. It's a full-blown invasion. The peace of the inn is shattered, replaced by the symphony of clashing steel and desperate cries. Turns out, Shishio doesn't do house calls without an entire army. Sanosuke, never one to back down from a fight, finds himself up against Angie, a monk with a deceptively peaceful exterior and hands that can pulverize rock. It's a battle of pure brawn, with Sanosuke's street-fighting grit meeting Angie's devastating spiritual attacks. The thud of their blows, the crack of bones, and the grunt of effort from both men fill the air. Angie's Futai no Kiwami technique, where he strikes twice in the exact same spot with incredible speed, nearly breaks Sanosuke. It's a truly brutal exchange, showing that not all battles require swords. Sanosuke is getting absolutely clobbered, but his stubbornness is a superpower in itself. He's like a punching bag that hits back really hard. Misao, along with the rest of the Oniwabanshu, put up a valiant defense. They're like a well-oiled ninja machine, using their agility, cunning, and various ninja tools to fend off Shishio's relentless forces. The schwip of kunai flying, the clang of short swords, and the thud of bodies hitting the ground are constant. Misao, in particular, is a force of nature, protecting Kaoru and Yahiko with fierce determination. It's a testament to their loyalty and training, showing that even against overwhelming odds, a united front can hold its ground. They're basically saying, "You want our in? You'll have to go through us," and are very sharp, pointy things. Amidst the chaos, the inevitable clash occurs, Kenshin versus Aoshi. This isn't just a fight. It's a duel between past comrades, a collision of ideologies. Aoshi, Fueled by his self-destructive obsession, attacks with a furious intensity, his dual kodachi a blur of steel. Kenshin, calm and focused, parries and deflects, his sakabato singing a defensive song. The whiz of Aoshi's blades and the clang of Kenshin's parries create a tense rhythm. It's a tragic dance with Aoshi unable to escape the shadow of his past, and Kenshin trying to save him from himself, even while fighting for his life. This is the kind of fight where you just know there's going to be emotional collateral damage. The duel between Kenshin and Aoshi reaches its peak. Aoshi unleashes every ounce of his skill and fury, but Kenshin, having just completed his advanced training, is now on another level. The thump of Aoshi's attacks against Kenshin's guard, the shush of their feet as they move, shows the sheer exertion. Kenshin, with a final powerful, non-lethal strike, manages to defeat Aoshi, finally bringing an end to his tormented rampage. It's a bittersweet victory as Aoshi collapses, not dead but broken by his own obsession. Kenshin, ever the compassionate warrior, offers a hand, showing that even after such a brutal fight, his hope for Aoshi's redemption remains. It's a fight that leaves a mark, both physically and emotionally, with the Aoya battle concluding and Aoshi hopefully on the path to recovery. It's time for the main event. Kenshin, Saito, and Sanosuke prepare to intercept the Rengoku, Shishio's monster battleship. Yahiko, ever the sneaky apprentice, manages to stow away because apparently he missed the memo about incredibly dangerous missions. The splash of their small boat against the night waters is the only sound, a stark contrast to the thundering chug of the Rengoku's engines in the distance. They're a tiny speck against a behemoth, but they've got heart, skill, and Kenshin, which is basically an entire army in itself. Time to take down the big bad before he turns Tokyo into a very expensive bonfire. Boarding a moving ironclad battleship isn't exactly a walk in the park. But Kenshin, Saito, and Sanosuke are professionals, or at least Kenshin is. The other two are just enthusiastic. They use grappling hooks to scale the enormous metal hull of the Rengoku. The creak of the ropes, the scrape of metal on metal as their hooks catch, and the whoosh of the wind are the only sounds. It's a tense, stealthy infiltration, because nobody wants to announce their arrival with a brass band when they're trying to take down a supervillain. Yahiko, of course, pops out of nowhere, much to Sanosuke's exasperation. Like a tiny, sword-wielding jack-in-the-box, he insists on joining the fight. Good grief, kid! And so, the stage is set for the ultimate showdown. Kenshin finally comes face-to-face with Shishio on the deck of the Rengoku, the clanking of the ship's machinery providing a grim soundtrack. Shishio, with his grotesque burns and chilling calm, looks every inch the final boss. Kenshin, resolute, stands ready to put an end to Shishio's reign of terror. The air practically hums with tension as two men, once bound by fate and then driven apart by it, prepare to clash. It's a moment steeped in history, blood, and the future of Japan. This is where legends are made or unmade, with the whoosh of a blade and the thud of a fall. The battle begins, and it's everything you'd expect and more. Shishio, wielding his unique serrated katana, unleashes devastating attacks, his blade constantly catching fire from his self-combustion. Kenshin, with his newly honed skills, parries and deflects, moving like lightning. The clang of their swords is deafening, sparks flying like a blacksmith's forge, and the thud of their feet on the metal deck resonates with every powerful strike. It's a dance of death, each combatant pushing the other to their absolute limit. Shishio's raw power and Kenshin's refined technique make for a truly spectacular, heart-pounding exchange. This isn't just a fight. It's a clash of titans, and neither is backing down. As the Rengoku continues its relentless journey towards Tokyo, Kenshin and Shishio's battle rages on, each warrior pushing past their physical limits. The shriek of the ship's engine, the clash of steel, and the grunt of exertion blend into a symphony of epic combat. The film leaves us on an agonizing cliffhanger, with the fate of Japan, and indeed Kenshin himself, hanging precariously in the balance. It's a truly exhilarating ending that screams, "Tune in next time for more explosive action," and leaves you gasping for air. What an incredible journey of sacrifice, friendship, and absolutely breathtaking swordplay. This movie truly delivered on its promise of action-packed excitement and left us all craving more, proving that Kenshin's story is far from over. And so, the stage is set for the final act, where all will be decided, and the ultimate test of Kenshin's resolve will face its fiery conclusion.